Welcome to Book Thots, brand lifestyle podcast. We are Thoughts for Books, and these are our thoughts on books. I'm Emily.
And I'm
I'm
Adriana.
Jenna.
Three sisters stripping down one book at a time. Today, we are kicking off year 2, and we've designated this year as the year of SJM, starting with A Court of Thorns and Roses. And the reason why we chose this is because we were already on the fence on what series we were going to do next. And then while we were on our sabbatical, Call Her Daddy came out with the interview with SJM, and we were like, well, if this is a sign, if I've ever seen one,
This has got to be a
gotta
sign.
be.
Definitely a sign. Before we jump in, we do have a content warning. Today's podcast is rated mature. We are Book Thoughts after all, so we're going to be using adult language and talking about adult topics. So please pay attention to who may be listening near you. Additionally, this episode will include spoilers for all 5 books in A Court of Thorns and Roses. Each episode we will focus on specific chapters, but our conversation will include the entire series. Lastly, I'm just going to apologize ahead of time because I know I'm going to mispronounce names and places, and Emily definitely will too. We've already talked about this. We've already discussed this book in depth, and we always mispronounce. I just got attacked by a bug. Mispronounce things.
I know Adriana is not going to mispronounce anything, though, because
Yes,
I feel like
I will.
you think you will. I was
Oh,
about to say, I don't
100%.
think you will.
Listen,
Jenna, I didn't put it
Sarah
in there.
said that all names are accepted, so that's what we have to roll with now.
That's true. But like before she said it,
She
before
did
she
say
said
that.
it, she was kind of like, yeah, the names, like kind of like,
Yeah.
how do people not get it kind of thing.
Well, especially when people asked about Reese.
I can't help it. I say Rysand. I will always. Like, that's just how I
No,
read.
it's
I'm
fine.
sorry. And then when they started abbreviating it, when they abbreviated it, I was like, oh, it's Reese. But I still said Rysand.
Yeah.
So I was like,
And
is
I'm
it
even
Rice?
worse.
I don't
I'm
know.
worse because I say Rysand. I don't even say Resand. I say Rysand. Like rise, the word rise, and Rysand. See,
Rysand.
Rysand. Emphasis on the and.
You got a thicker Okie accent than
I'm
me
a
on
thick
that
girl. Okay.
Before we jump in to chapters 1 through 9 of the first book of ACOTAR, Emily's going to go over our new year, new layout kind of thing to just keep you guys updated on how we're going to change it up for season 2.
It's a new year, so it's a slightly new layout. As you can see, we're going to be doing a lot of episodes virtual just to make it easier for our schedules. We got one person in school, one person that's teaching school, helping with teaching school, and then I have a baby. So that's just going to make it easier. We're still going to have a strip down, but after reviewing our first year and looking at our strengths and weaknesses, strengths would be we're really good at gossiping about the characters and getting fan theories wrong. But a weakness would be we are not the person that you go to for like a detailed deep dive. We really mean it when we say strip down. Just like 1 or 2 layers, not all of them. So we're going to kind of do it like it's almost like a gossip article. Today's going to be the first episode where we're testing this out. And I'll just be honest, the first 6 chapters, I think I've got it down pretty good. And then the last 3 chapters, I'm not so sure. It feels exactly like the old way. So we're going to be testing that out. But our deep dives, aka strip downs, are not going to be as detailed. And then we're still going to do a spotlight, which is where we talk about things going on in the book community, usually specifically about the series that we're talking about. But, you know, sometimes we'll throw in other things. And then fan theories that we've come up with, or ones that we see on social media, or ones that even you come up with. So if you have a fan theory that you want us to feature, be sure to shoot us a message. I know ACOTAR has endless fan theories. And then we're going to have special segments that are going to be ACOTAR or SJM specific. Have no clue what that looks like because we're going to come up with them on the fly. And then, of course, we're going to have guests join episodes. For example, we're going to have Heather Debris join an episode and talk about ACOTAR. And hopefully we can continue that on with other authors or other special guests. We're still going to be doing breaks for author interviews, podcast interviews, and standalones. So that will continue on just to give us a little break and doing the strip downs of these larger series. The bottom line is it's going to be very similar if you listened to us last year to this year with just a slightly few changes. So now let's strip it down. Strip it down, girl. Strip it down, girl. Strip. Okay, we cannot forget the map. The map is at the beginning of the book, not the end, and the map is detailed. And I looked at it for a split second and completely forgot everything it has in it. But if you're someone that looks at the map, look at the map. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm the
I
map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map.
I don't
Especially
remember
in the
any
later
other
books,
place.
because you start adding to the map.
I didn't even remember it was called
Isn't it
Parenth.
Corinthian?
What? Prithian.
It is Parenth. It's Parenthian. I said it
Oh.
wrong. Look at
I was
me.
like, wait, where?
That's on the map.
This is
Adriana.
how
Did
we
you
do
not
it,
look?
guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Off to a solid start and our strengths.
Oh, I love it.
Chapter 1. There's an unknown female hunter risking life and limb to hunt in the freezing cold winter because of her selfish, starving family's expectations back home. She has no time to enjoy her passion for art or the rare hookup with Isaac Hale. Sitting like a partridge in a pear tree, she spots a mouth-watering deer in a clearing. But hold up, folks, because what's that? A pony-sized, golden-eyed wolf. But this is no rodeo, and this pony wolf has to go, and since it might be a fairy, no risks can be taken. The female strings her one ashwood iron arrow and waits for the perfect moment to shoot her shot. The wolf attacks the deer, the human attacks the wolf. Having injured him greatly, she takes the opportunity to take her final killing blow by shooting a second arrow through one of his golden eyes. The wolf, without even attempting to dodge the arrow, dies on the forest floor. The female hunter skins the wolf, wraps the deer with the fur, and starts her long trek home. Final score: Wild Animals 0, Skinny Hunting Bitch 2. Reading this through a second time, the whole skinning him really bothers me because I know it's not just a wolf.
Oh my god. I was just picturing this ugh, like skinned wolf carcass on the ground, and then it's like it's also a dude. Like
And her like nervous hesitation
that
the
was
entire time when she's like checking the pelt, and she's like, it can't be. It won't be. It's not. And she comes
Yeah.
home and her dad's even like,
The italicized, like, and he didn't even try to dodge the arrow. Like, I didn't realize how much it emphasized that this was not a wolf the first time I read it through. And
yeah.
just like to preface, this is only my second time reading the first book. So I'm like picking up on a lot of stuff that I didn't notice the first time I read it.
I was
Caffeine.
pretty sure it was a fairy since she just kept saying like it's definitely not a fairy. It's not a fairy. Like the first time I read it I was pretty sure, but the second time through, why does it emphasize
That's what I was
golden
gonna
eyes
say.
too
Yeah,
and
the
stuff?
golden
I don't know.
eyes staring back at her and just like not moving. It's like, okay.
So we can already see that she's puts her family first, but we also get a hint at Nesta's personality when she
Mm-hmm.
quotes that Nesta was prone to crave anything someone else possesses. And I had a hard time with Nesta's book because I didn't really like her that
Yeah.
much. And I feel like it's because of little Easter eggs like this, where it's like Nesta only wanted things that other people had. And like throughout these first 9 chapters, she has like little digs at Nesta.
Yeah. Nesta's really set up in this book with how much you kind of like despise her in a way a lot of the time until you get to her book and you really learn a lot about what she's gone through personally and like why she holds back on a lot of things and just kind of understanding her personality as a whole, I feel like. But yeah, there's so many things that it's just like, why are you being lazy? Why are you like the chopping of the wood when she literally asks her, just can you please chop some wood? She's like, no,
Yeah.
why would I dirty my hands like that? You know?
I do think that you're not supposed to like Nesta in this book, but I also think that she leaves some breadcrumbs to show Nesta's like true personality as well when she will protect Elaine above
Yeah.
all else. She does show that.
TikTok has shown me there's like a guy who like he has a thirst trap of just chopping wood, and it does look like no easy feat. So in Nesta's defense, it does look really hard.
Have you ever tried?
I
I don't even know if I could swing an actual axe, to be honest, with my arm strength. I have been going to the gym. I seriously don't think I could take an axe and chop it even one
yeah.
log.
Maybe that's next episode, or we do like a little segment and we go to a lumber yard or a forest and we try to chop some wood.
Yeah, I don't think Nesta hates Feyre. I think
No.
she I think she is very protective of Elaine because Elaine doesn't have that like bite to her as Feyre and Nesta will. They will fight whatever, tooth and nail kind of thing. But I think that's why they're a little bit more protective over her, even though rereading it and remembering that Feyre's the youngest kills me
Yes.
because it's so Hunger Games to me in that first chapter, like you said.
Yeah.
She's the one providing, she's the one going out hunting, and she's coming home and she's seeing her two sisters and her father just sitting there, not have done anything to prepare for what she's bringing home, what she's going out and doing all day for them. It wears on you a little bit.
They're not that much older
No,
though. I don't know why, but when I first read it, I got the sense that Nesta was so much older and she should have had so much more responsibility. She's only 3 years
yeah.
older than Feyre, which also makes me question why does she have all the schooling as well as Elaine and Feyre doesn't? That like there's only 3 years difference between them and they still got to go through everything and she
Wait,
didn't.
are you sure she's only 3 years older?
Yeah,
Dang.
it says it in the
That's
book.
what yeah, we just read it and it says Nesta is 3 years older than me, then there's Elaine in the middle and
Maybe
me.
because doesn't the mom die at 8? So maybe 9-year-olds are when they really get all the schooling.
But like, once you become of age and you've had schooling and then your next sister has had schooling, she's the baby. You would think instead of them just letting her only, let's say, learn how to hunt, learn how to snare, whatever, like she would at least have taught her how to write or how to read basic. Even if it was just basic
Yeah.
minimal and she just didn't like continue her schooling. I would have maybe
I
like not felt as bad.
I think any older sibling is going to look at this scenario and say, even if it's just a year, an older sibling feels responsibility. Why did she not feel that responsibility? But I'm the youngest sibling, so
I'm only 22 months older than my brother and I still felt like I needed to protect him and do everything.
yeah.
I I don't get reading this, I still don't get it, but I do think that it is a little bit more acceptable that she's not
Yeah.
old either. These girls don't know anything, and when you're brought up in high society, I've been watching Bridgerton a lot, so I get the high society.
So let's continue on with our anger at Nesta and jump into
Yes.
chapter 2. The sunset hike ends with a freezing cold chill as our unknown female hunter approaches her home. As she gets closer, she hears her two sisters gossiping about ribbons and boys, but the true scandal is that the firewood has not been chopped. Does she really have to do everything for her family? She still smiles as she enters, and we get introduced to 3 people: a shitty woodworker of a father, Nesta the bitch sister, and Elaine the clueless gardener. Oh, and our unknown hunter now has a name: Feyre. The tea about the family, or should I say hot water because they can't even afford the tea. They've spent 8 years in poverty because their dad lost their fortune, then got beat so bad he lost his ability to walk, then lost his desire to be a father. Feyre promised her dying mother 11 years ago that they would stay together and she would look after them, which seems to be the only thing keeping her around to do so. This family lives in a 2-bedroom cottage, and the 3 sisters share a bed that's seen it all: births, deaths, and I guess some sleep. The only good thing in this home seems to be a detailed dresser that Feyre painted that features violets and roses for Elaine, crackling flames for Nesta, and the night sky for Feyre. After Feyre cleans up, the family sits down to enjoy a meal. The dinner topic for the night: Thomas Mandry, a woodcutter's second son, wants to marry Nesta. Claire Better, another villager, confirmed. Feyre ain't having it and asks her dad to grow a pair and step in. Instead, he tells Feyre to let his sisters have hope since they don't have food. Okay, Daddy. Feyre ends the night with saying, "There's no such thing as hope."
I hate
I
him so
don't
much.
agree, with a lot that Nesta does, but I do appreciate her like sitting by the fire and ignoring her father and making him work for his cane as she sets it across the living room. I'm that petty to where I this part of Nesta I do like.
She's tired of him just sitting and letting them wither away. His job
Yeah.
is to protect them. His job was to provide for them, and they barely have anything.
It wasn't even like it was the love of his life that died and he's just letting himself wither away because of his lost love. It's because he doesn't have any money that he didn't work for because he's so used to the high
He was
class. Didn't he like gamble it
it
away or
was a lot. It
something?
was like a bad investment, but also he didn't like want to go out and about with like his bad legs in public. Like he was ashamed of them.
What a stupid bitch.
Here we also see Feyre had a weak stomach from the beginning when she says that she vomited while they beat her dad, which is a valid reason to vomit, but I just think it's funny because I did not realize how early in this series it talks about her throwing up. That seems to be her trauma response. I also very early on do not understand how Feyre does it. Like the way she describes her sisters, the way that she describes her father, and the fact that she made a promise to her mother at 8 years old that she would take care of her family on her deathbed. I'm like, how do you like even as I don't remember what I was doing when I was 8. I don't even know what grade you're in when you're 8. Like, how do you remember this promise and why did you make this promise? Like, how were you this conscious as an 8-year-old to do that?
If your mom was dying and asked you something, you even if you're only 8, you'd probably remember
But
it.
do you think
Unless it was too traumatic that you wipe it from your memory, it it's gonna stick with you because that's what trauma does usually.
why do you think that Farah's mom chose her to make this promise? Do you think she even saw like, hey, you're the most reliable to take care of this family? Because Farah mentions like she was the one chosen to make this promise.
I know she says I don't know why she didn't ask my older sister who she seemed to favor. She says her mother didn't even like her
I
very
know, that's why
much.
it's weird.
So she's so confused about it. You guys want to hear my first theory since
Yeah,
rereading this?
let's hear it.
Well, I've always thought that the mom has to be some kind of hidden fae. Something. She has to not be human. There's something about her that is they don't talk about her. She's not mentioned in the books. Like there's a secret there. But since she asks Feyre that, I think maybe she has sight like Elaine gets later.
Right now, is this your only evidence for that? And shall we develop more as we keep going?
Yeah, plus I probably misremembered a bunch of stuff.
Well,
So
later
who
on in
knows?
the book, it talks about when Feyre's like walking through the garden and she feels like someone's following her and she starts to see like blurs in her peripheral. It makes me feel like she can almost pull back the curtain a little bit on the Fey magic without even being Fey. So I wouldn't say I totally disagree with that theory.
I definitely
We'll
think
see.
there's something with the mom, but I don't know if it's like 100% that she's Fae or she's like, I guess like a half Fae because she'd be like the daughter of someone over in the fairylands. But at the same
Yeah.
time, the reason why I also agree with you is because I think it affected the sisters, the three sisters. And that's why the cauldron recognized them as like, I know exactly what I'm going to give you. Obviously, Nesta wants to take more. That's spoilers. You know, we get into that later on. But like, I think there's more to it. I think the father may have been the only thing pure human.
Pure piece of
Definitely
shit
pure piece of shit.
is what you
Yes.
meant to say,
Yes.
maybe?
Jenna, you
Yeah.
said you were going to give the father a second chance.
You said I was going to give the father a
Does he
second
deserve
chance.
it?
You said I should try.
No, absolutely not.
I can't. I can't. I got even madder reading this, and he's like seriously not even acknowledging his daughter lumbering into the house on a blizzardy night with this huge deer wrapped in a huge wolf, and he's like, "How did you do this?"
Also,
like, well, not anything you fucking taught me, you
I
asshole.
really like how it's like talks about how he's like not that good at wood carving too. Like for some reason that
Mhm.
brings me joy.
Yeah.
Lastly, do you think that Feyre is fair for her to be like, we don't need hope doesn't exist. Like, don't give Nesta that hope.
I'm more in agreement with her.
Why?
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys feel that way, and I won't like just talk over you, but I do. I feel like she had the most realistic approach to it to me. At least that's how I
Yeah.
felt connecting with her. And especially later when she warns her in like the next chapter or whenever it is that she warns her like don't be stupid. Don't choose him. But I'm also telling you, don't just like play into what their dad basically wants them to do. Just, believe in hope. We all need hope. Yeah, but you also
Yeah,
need to be realistic.
you need to face your realities.
Be realistic, because you're only going to be another mouth to feed and you don't
Yeah.
contribute. You are not a contributor, and you're only going to be a burden. They're not going to want you, and you're going to end up worse off than you are now. And I want to slap the dad, because how dare him tell his youngest daughter, who's doing everything to provide for the family, with no one giving her any glimpse of hope at all, that she shouldn't take it away from her older sister. How dare you say that to me? I would have killed him.
Okay, so Jenna's really gonna give him a second chance. Let's snowball that anger right into chapter 3. The three sisters are taking the shit-covered road to the village center, which can only mean one thing. It's market day. Nothing could ruin this day in town except missionaries. Children of the Blessed, as they are labeled, are worshippers of the High Fae, and they're here to share their gospel in the deadbeat village. But even after hearing the promising story of an acolyte who found fortune and safety in Perinthian, the fairy realm, no one is converting. And that's probably because the said acolyte hasn't been seen or heard from in months and is more likely going to appear in an episode of Dateline. Nesta politely tells the missionaries to F off, and the three sisters are back to their mission. Sorry, PETA, but it's time to sell the wolf hide. Feyre finds the perfect buyer, a mercenary. The mercenary pays in money and a history lesson. The gist? The humans used to be slaves to the High Fae. They revolted. There was a bloody war. It all ended when 6 mortal queens came up with a treaty and an invisible wall to separate everyone. The North held the Fae and the magic. The South held the humans and the despair. The biggest shocker, the 500-year-old treaty isn't being followed anymore. So, the mercenary warns Feyre about going too far into the forest because of Martax attacks. Try saying that 5 times fast. Martax attacks, Martax attacks, Martax attacks. The beast that has a body of a bear, head of a lion, and teeth of a shark. Super shocked that they know what a shark is. But but coming in with an even bigger bite is Nesta's attitude as she warns Feyre to stay away from the mercenaries. Tension between the two sisters is cut when Feyre's booty call is spotted, Isaac. But don't worry, readers, they use protection. The day ends with the three sisters back at the cottage with their deadbeat father snoozing away and an unwelcome beast ruining a cozy evening in.
Oh, I forgot to say, I think it's in the second chapter. We have the first reference to being like an asp, because she touches the doorknob that bites her like an asp.
I don't remember it. It's in the second chapter?
It is? I'm trying to remember.
I think
It definitely in these
I
first
think when
9.
she says
Yeah.
I think she touched the cold biting
Yeah.
doorknob and it bit her like an asp, something like that. And I have to keep account of how many times we get the reference like an asp.
You will be our ass
so.
counter. Is a Martax like a common fantasy book beast, or is that like SJM
Never heard of
invented
it.
that?
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
No recollection of
totes
it,
made
but
up.
it's like Martax attacks, like
When the mercenary says the Martax thing, I'm like, did I read this the first time? Did I skip this
do
over?
you mean TurboTax? Like, it's just so random. Okay,
The Carfax?
yeah, show me the Carfax. Show me the Martax attacks.
If you or your loved one has been harmed by a Martax.
I picture these missionaries, and this is not anything negative. I'm saying this is just how I picture it. Like, I can't think of I think it's Jehovah's Witness, where they'll stand outside of like buildings and stuff, and they have like a whole pamphlet section, and they're just like to themselves, but they're always at like the park, at a grocery store, at any public place. That's how like I picture them standing, but the way that they talk, I picture them almost speaking like very ghostly. I don't know, just like too bubbly, too overzealous almost.
Yeah, like they're from a cult.
Yes. Yes.
Like just a little doe-eyed sheep baby talking like they're from a
like,
cult.
have you ever heard the great word of
No.
the Perinthian wall?
We worship the blessed. Are they robed in all
I
white?
thought it was blue. Is it all white?
I think it's white.
Is it?
I don't remember, but I thought it was said white.
I picture white, and I just picture them like with their hair down and like just this like bare face and just so naive. So naive.
I'm gonna check the Kindle real quick, just because it would just be awesome if we could get our first color mix up for Jenna in the first episode. Nesta opened her mouth again, but I stepped between them and ran an eye along the girl's pale blue robes.
I thought it was
You
white.
can never trust me if I say a hair color, if I say an eye color, if I say a clothes color, double check me. I'm probably wrong.
She's colorblind, but in books, so like color word bride.
She can't
Yeah.
read, people. She can't read.
Okay, so Nesta and Elaine like wanting something from the market and not sure if they're gonna get it. This doesn't, you guys don't even have to tell the story, but I was just thinking about things that I have really wanted in life, didn't think I was gonna get, but still got it. And the first thing that came to my mind was Ms. Me jeans. You know, those used to be all the rage. If you're listening and you know what Ms. Me jeans are, you're old. And they had the like the patterns on the butt and stuff, and they were so expensive. I was like, I'm never gonna get a pair. And then one time my mom took me to the mall and I got to pick out at Dillard's a pair of Miss Me jeans, and it just is like a core memory in my mind because I never thought I'd be the girl wearing Miss Me jeans. Later, Emily would sell the Miss Me jeans on Facebook Marketplace for a profit.
I would go like to the cell phone store to help my dad pick out a new cell phone or something, and then I'd end up getting a new one as well.
Having read the series, what do you think about these moments? We talked about like how Nesta is already being so critical, but here she has like two moments where, having read the entire series, I can tell that this is almost Nesta caring, where she warns Feyre about the mercenary, and she's like, I hope you're not being stupid and like using protection. Like I feel like that's Nesta caring in her own way.
Yes, I definitely picked up on Nesta care. I mean, I've already said that
Yeah.
I did in other parts, but right here for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad she mentions the use protection.
Me too. I really love when books mention that, so I was super excited about it as well.
It's your
Mhm.
favorite thing,
And we
Emily.
learned that it's not
I love it.
it's not Feyre
No.
using it because she can't afford
Yeah.
the tonic. It's what's his
Isaac.
head?
Don't you wish that's how the real world worked? Chapter 4. The beast busts into the cottage like Kool-Aid Man busts into children's homes. The deets on the beast's killer look. He's as large as a horse, a feline body with a wolfish head, elk-like horns, dagger-like claws, and yellow fangs. I have no clue what he looks like after reading this, but he's a fairy. He's here for one thing and one thing only, the murderer. What murderer, you ask? The fairy says the one that killed the wolf. Feyre, you're up. And well, Feyre has no problem owning up to mistakenly killing the wolf when her entire family's lives are at risk. And why not take this opportunity to get her real thoughts off her chest about the fairies? She explains that the wolf didn't attack her and she didn't know it was Fae, but she's glad it's dead because after everything the Fae have done to humans, the wolf probably deserved it. The beast in front of her responds with a growl, and ladies, it's not the good kind either. He then demands the wolf's life be paid for, as the 500-year-old treaty states, a life for a life. Is he lying? Nope. Just like the Marauder's map in Harry Potter, the Fae cannot tell lies. So he gives her the choice: die tonight or offer her life to Perinthian and live out her days there, forsaking the human realm. Forsaking the human realm for 5,000? Feyre considers running, but decides to take the offer and is notified that they will be leaving immediately. The highlights from the rushed, heartfelt goodbye to her family: she tells Nesta to not marry Thomas Mandry since his father beats his mother and he does nothing about it. She tells her father where the money is hidden and where to hunt. Her sisters say absolutely nothing, and her dad, if you can call him that, tells her she is too good for this world and that if she finds a way to escape this deal, to never come back. Why do I picture that Airbud scene where he's like, get buddy, get, go away, I don't want you anymore. The snow crunches under her feet as she leaves to her new future with the fairy, and somewhere far away, a mercenary sleeps warm with a fey wolf's fur.
Can you imagine having your home invaded by this ghastly looking giant fey beast and then be like, yeah, I mean, good luck. It'll be better than
Yeah.
here. Go
Maybe.
on. Get.
That's why I'm like, Is he saying that to like make her feel better about the situation? Because like what an odd time to be like, yeah, no, like you're too good for this world. Like it almost feels like he's trying to think of something to make her feel better.
You deserve to go be this crazy slave human in the Corinthian. Why does he think it's going to be better?
If you get free, don't come
Did I
back.
say it wrong
Don't
again?
come
You
back.
both have. It's fine.
Corinthian? Prithian.
Prithian.
Prithian. I'm adding
I
an
think you're
extra N.
adding. Yeah.
Yeah.
You both are. Yeah.
Perithian. The goodbye pisses me off, and the sister saying nothing. I would sleep at night just thinking of that. But I truly have a hard time picturing Tamlin here. There's almost like too much detail in this. Like there's like he has a left hand that's reptilian, his right hand is feathers. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm, it's like so much so I need to see like fan art because I really don't. I guess I never thought about his beast form.
I don't know why, but I totally forgot he had a wolf head or whatever, and I thought he had
I think it's like a lion head.
lion.
Yeah. Is it not a lion?
No, it's wolfish. Look at this picture. For everyone on podcast, if you want to see the picture that I am sending, it's Discord from the My Little Pony
Oh
series.
my gosh, we can't get one episode in without you mentioning My Little Pony.
Nope, it has to be now. It's already happened, and it's your fault.
That is not what I pictured.
That's
but thank
what-
you. Now I'm forever
That's-
haunted.
I'll put it in the description of the episode. Would you have taken the deal? Or would you have just been like, I am tired. I've been providing for this family. I don't want to think about how they might be starving. I don't want to go be a slave to fairies. So if you could rip me to ribbons like you said you were gonna, let's just end it here.
Let's really give them
Seriously,
some trauma.
I wouldn't wait for anything.
Because I feel like there's got to be a part
Just do
of
it.
her that was like, I am tired, capital T. Can you just
Yeah.
end this for me?
Get me out of here, dude.
And the only other thing I was going to say is this chapter we learned that she is the youngest, and I had completely forgotten that, but we already nailed down that.
Because I
nail
always think
with
it
a
goes
hammer.
Nesta,
Yeah.
Feyre, Elaine, based on like how they
Yes.
act, but it's not. It's not that way.
Who protects the middle child? Like what? Nobody.
Everybody, apparently, they all think she's this helpless little flower.
Yeah, and
I think that it stifled
well,
her.
I want to put an asterisk with my earlier description of each sister is that
Mhm.
it's not how I see the sisters when I said, well, it kind of is. I do kind of picture Nesta a bitch, but I never pictured Elaine clueless until rereading this. And the way that she describes her is kind of like, oh, she's maybe book smart, but not street smart. You know what I mean? Like the way
Mhm.
that she's described in these first couple chapters is she's a little bit of an airhead.
She is a little bit of an airhead, but she is the most thoughtful out of the sisters besides Feyre, because Feyre literally takes care of all of
Yeah,
them.
I mean,
You know, whatever. But she actually buys gifts for the
She's
dad.
the gentle soul.
And
it was
yeah.
super
And
super
Feyre.
nice of her to use the money that Feyre worked for to buy her dad a gift and Feyre a gift.
you know,
No,
he
I-
deserves
I mean,
love too.
I think it was good that she bought.
Apparently, she's the only one
No,
who
he
actually
doesn't.
like talks to him.
That's true.
I wouldn't have treated her dad as nicely either, but that's just because like we said earlier, like it frustrates me that he sits on his ass, and I don't care what depression you're in, I don't care like what crippling thoughts you have, like as a parent you should get it together. You should do your best to get it together, and if you can't, then why are you burdening your 3 youngest daughters who can only do so much in this world anyway? Because
I think
truthfully, he's left them nothing. And Feyre's proven
Why
she's
is
done
he-
everything she can to keep this family afloat.
Why is he staying? Why is he there? Because they're taking care of him. He has a roof
Yeah.
over his head.
He
that
gets lazy.
Feyre literally
Yeah.
provides. I understand trauma. I get it. But when you have children depending on you, you don't get to have the trauma
you rise to the
and
occasion.
go through it right then. You gotta ignore it for a while and then
Yeah.
deal with it later.
Chapter 5. White Mare is seen carrying human to Perinthian.
You're still adding an
Am I
N.
adding?
Prithian.
Where am I? Prithian.
Prithian.
Prithian. It's
You're doing
not
Perinthian.
Perinth.
You're doing
Okay.
Pryn.
I'm just gonna butcher this the whole series.
That's fine.
There's no
It's fine.
way. Okay.
We
Chapter
already did
5.
our disclosure.
Yeah, people know. They're not listening to us for the juicy details. Okay, chapter 5. White Mare is seen carrying human to Perithian with a powerful fairy leading the way. So White Mare is seen carrying human to Perithian with a powerful fairy leading the way. Pharaoh realized a few things on her way to her new future. A, she had murdered a fairy and she didn't care. B, Ashwood could be her only potential savior in this situation. C, no one came back once crossing the wall. D, she was to live with the fairies, but what did live really mean? E, her family would more than likely starve without her. Farah knew little about Prynthian, except that it was divided and ruled by 7 High Lords. Only one matters. It was beyond her why the humans had stayed so close to a place so deadly to them. She started to ask the fairy questions, but there were no answers. Then darkness. She woke up to invisible bonds holding her down and gates opening to her new home. This was a very quick chapter, so I didn't have a lot of questions for this, but it's really funny to try to picture Tamlin in his beast form riding a mare. And then I looked up what mare meant because I just pictured pony, but it could be several different animals, and one of them is actually is a donkey. So is he riding a pony? Is it a donkey? I need specifics here.
I mean, she does say that he's the
He
same size
walked.
practically as the mare that she's riding.
Yeah. It's like when you're
She's riding a mare. He's walking.
but he's the okay.
He's not on a horse.
Either way, I picture what's it called when you go to the parades and then there's those people with the hats and they ride around in the little tiny cars. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh my gosh, Shriners.
A clown?
No, Shriners. When you go to a
Oh.
parade, the Shriners, whatever they are, they're always on little miniature vehicles, bikes, and stuff like that, and they do little circles, and the kids love it.
What is she talking
Oh
about?
my gosh, you don't.
No
I'm trying,
idea.
but
I mean, I know
don't
what
know.
Shriner is. I know
I
what
don't
you're.
know what you're referencing.
I can picture the hat with the tassel, but I have no clue
Yeah,
about them riding a vehicle of any
I
sort.
am 100%
No.
correct in this. If you're listening to this and you're like, Emily sounds crazy, I'm not. Go ahead and look up Shriners at parades, and you've probably seen it at every single parade you've ever been to.
I don't know what parade you have gone to. I am looking at this. I have never seen them in vehicles. Yeah, that's what I'm looking
Okay,
at.
I kid you not. I'm going to go on Google. I'm going to look up when the next parade is. Hopefully there's an Easter one that we could stop by so that you can see the Shriners show up in their little vehicles.
I'm not saying you're not right. I'm just saying I've never seen it.
We don't have time for this.
Something I just want to point out. I think it's interesting how we were talking about how she's very sensitive to the magic and how, granted, we're only seeing and listening or learning through her eyes and lenses, but it's interesting how it always tingles her nose, and that's how she's kind of hinted at that, oh, I recognize or I've heard that is what magic is and that feeling sensation is, and then it just overcomes her and she's like, okay, I'm out, I'm asleep.
Yeah.
That little.
Was that her crossing? That was going to be a question. Was that her crossing the wall? Her reaction to crossing the wall?
I think I think it's almost like a veil in a sense. At least that's what I think. I don't know if she's necessarily just crossed it yet, but it's a veil of some sort that I think affects her.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's Tamlin doing it.
It was.
No, I don't think so either.
It wasn't Tamlin putting her to sleep and him using his
It
magic?
might have been. When I read it, I always thought it was like a veil that she finally went through, or that that's how it affected her, that's how mortals can't find their way into the Feylands.
I thought he used his magic to put her to sleep so that she couldn't see where the break in the wall was.
I do think he does that, but I do think her first reaction is possibly that. I don't know. I could see it being both things. But either way, even if that is him putting her to sleep, I think she does have an interesting reaction to him using his magic on her.
I think it's to keep her from seeing the path or where they're going to know how to get into the lands and then back, basically.
Chapter 6. A hot new bombshell has entered the villa. And by villa, I mean this mysterious fairy's mansion. And by bombshell, I mean Feyre. The mansion was eerily empty. So empty, she could make a run for it, but she was also hungry. So Feyre decided to eat first, then run. Her new home had lots of gardens and rooms, pure luxury. In one room, a feast was waiting. Old advice echoed through her mind: never eat a fairy's food or drink their wine. Hindsight, I'd be drinking that wine. A beast plopped into a chair across from her at the table of food. He had to be high fae, young, with a golden mask. This beast of a man urges her to eat, and even though she is getting hangry, cough Jenna because she gets very hangry.
You guys, did you say that I might be hangry? Because look what Garrett just brought me.
You send
That's
my
perfect
husband
timing.
too.
She is more focused on finding an escape, but she does take the time to ask who her new masked captor is. He doesn't answer and just urges her to eat again. Feyre hesitates and says she knows it's not safe. He says it is, and the discussion turns into a reminder that she is not jailed and can venture around Perinthian at her own risk. At this moment, someone else enters the hot villa, another high fae, red-haired, and he too wears a mask, like a fox, and has a scar with a missing eye, but a gold orb that replaces it. Lucian. We're just gonna say he's an emissary to that high fae at the other end of the table. Now, for some awkward conversation. Lucian asks who killed Andras and can't believe it's that pathetic human in front of him. He then asks Feyre if she enjoyed it. The conversation ends with being introduced to Alice, a servant. Alice is wearing a mask as well, a bird mask. It's starting to feel like COVID 2020. I forgot I put that in there. Feyre overhears the conversation as she is escorted out, and it's about dumping that girl off, aka her, how Andres was on a fool's errand, what was the errand, etc. In her new room, Alice tries to make Feyre wear a dress but fails. She parts with some advice: keep her mouth closed and ears open. Feyre is dressed in a tunic and the doors open as she heads to her first dinner as a captive. Rereading this for the first time, I found it so chilling that there are people all around that she can't see, because that's what happens, right? Like that everybody is around her, but it's magic covering them. I
Yeah.
think that's creepy. I think that would be
It's super
it
creepy.
make me very self-conscious after I discovered that they could see me.
Especially
All
since
those
you're
little
like, how many
toots.
people have I walked by? Damn it, Emily.
Walking alone in the garden, letting them rip. And that's why the little.
I'm not even.
That's why they're dancing and laughing.
I was thinking about like when she hears the people shuffling. Like, it's not even that like people would hear it. It's like, don't lie to me. You've never tooted, and it's like you do it. And it's I just, you know what? Let's move on because I'm not gonna be able to finish this sentence. Does
Oh my God.
does Lucian actually think it's a fool's errand, or was he just playing his part? So much of these first few chapters, I'm like, does he absolutely hate Feyre, or is he just playing his part to like egg her on?
I don't know. I don't really understand him very much. I think I do, and then he does something else, and then I'm like, okay, I don't know you.
Adriana, I was gonna ask you if you, because you've read this series way more than Jenna and I ever have. Do you think he's playing the part, or do you think he actually feels this way?
So I personally think at this point, as early as the book is with Lucian, I think he is still angry with her. But I also think that because he knows of the curse, the Blythe that they want to leave it as, but Amarantha basically. I think he's also testing her because he truly doesn't believe that she's capable of breaking this curse, that she's capable of killing. And so I think he's just testing her. I think he's frustrated with her that she's even here, but he knows the cost of what they were looking for. And so in this regard, he's like, I expected more, and you're the one that's presented, so like how can this be? So I'm going to kind of toy with you. I'm going to really see if you're capable of living on your own. That's why he crosses the line so much with Tamlin, even though Tamlin's like, be nice, play nice, and she's off limits kind of thing. Like he said, he hasn't seen a human for decades, and he's kind of just dangling with her. He's toying with it.
I didn't remember that Tamlin could glamour other fae. That's the only reason Andres looks like a wolf is because Tamlin used whatever fucking power he has and turned him into a wolf. Yep. And I didn't remember that, so I just wanted to point that out.
The last thing I was going to say is I just love that Alice's advice on keeping her mouth shut and ears open. I just love her from the get-go, and I forgot how much I love her from the get-go. Till they part ways, I love her.
Her warning of her senses playing tricks on her. It's why she keeps seeing those little flickering things that you were talking about. It's just those warnings that it's like, at least she's not fully against you. Even when she's like, girl, that ain't gonna stop me.
Yeah. You gonna trip me with a curtain?
That was so funny when she's just like exasperated about the fact that the curtains are ruined.
Yeah.
I like Alice.
Chapter 7. The Prisoner's First Dinner. The High Fae, whose name we learn is Tamlin, and Lucian are sipping from goblets and waiting for Feyre. She is still scared to eat, and Tamlin tries to reassure her, but it's obvious that it's been decades since he has spoken to a mortal woman. Lucian has the audacity to criticize Feyre for not wearing a dress to dinner, but Tamlin points out that killing them is easier in pants, so Feyre is def gonna wear pants. Getting straight to the point, she wants to know what Tamlin's plan is for her. Simply put, it's to let her live. He doesn't make the rules of the treaty, he just follows them. Now the dinner conversation turns unsavory as Lucian asks how she killed Andres. Doesn't he know you never kill and tell? Feyre is for some reason still worried about her unthankful family as she begs to get back to them, but Tamlin assures her they are cared for. Should she believe him? Maybe. She deflects by insulting him. Then invisible bonds hold her down. Tamlin warns her that if she tries to flee, he will stop caring for her family. Still restrained, green-eyed Tamlin convinces her to eat. So she eats. Fae and human sharing a meal, and no one is understanding the other. Lucian can't understand why she isn't checking out their hot Fae bods, and she can't understand why they are bothering with her at all. Tamlin finally drops the truth bomb that he kills too often, so he decided to let her live. The next day, Feyre wakes before dawn, thinking of her family yet again, and the odd compliment Tamlin had given her about her hair being clean. It truly must have been a long time since he's spoken to a female. Her thoughts are interrupted with Alice tripping over the makeshift trap Feyre had made the night before. Alice still gets her ready for the day and warns her that she is safe in the home, but to still always be aware. While exploring the home, Feyre stumbles upon a room full of paintings and can't help but stare. Then she is rudely interrupted by Tamlin, who offers to give her a tour. She says no. Despite the rejection, and after some questioning, Tamlin takes the time to explain the curse that had trapped the Fae of the house in the masks for almost 50 years, and how the curse is slowly taking away their magic. He even warns her that it will spread to the mortal world. Dun dun dun!
Bum, bum, bum.
So, do we think that the magical bonds that are holding her back are really just like people holding her back, or is that Tamlin like with his mind?
I thought it was Tamlin, but then I was like, I don't remember Tamlin having that kind of magic. What is his magic? Because I don't remember at all.
Lucian kind of hints out that their magic isn't anything particular. It's almost like everything that you would need to rule. And magical bonds do hold her down when she's on top of that donkey mule thing on their way to this new land. But just knowing that there are people all around her and it's like magical bonds are holding her legs and then her arms. For some reason, I picture the invisible people like underneath the table, like holding her legs to the chair and then holding her arms down.
Which would be hilarious.
I don't know why, but I just pictured like tiny people, like, you know, how if there's ever tiny people in movies where they like throw the ropes over them and then they're like pulling.
Yes. That's what I just really picture. So I was just curious. And then it's so hard to picture them in their masks. And I think I've said this to you guys before. Fantasy books would always be so hard to make into movies or TV shows because it makes sense in my head, but if I see it in person, I'd be like, that's kind of cheesy. This is one of those things where it's like picturing them always in a mask. That is just so hard for me to imagine. In 50 years of that, I would have jumped off a cliff year one.
I would have lost my ever-loving mind. I didn't really have a hard time because I've watched things where they do masquerade balls, so I just picture him dressed like in the masquerade ball masks. The only thing that I had trouble with is the first time that the mask is described, and then later, spoiler for later, when Feyre and Tamlin are like kissing and stuff and doing things, I'm like, how is he doing that in this mask? I
If
don't
there
know.
is
There's
a
just
will, there's a way. That's the worst part of the curse. It's not even losing the magic or that Amarantha wants to kill all the mortals. It's that you had to wear a mask for 50 years.
I hate that the maids are in the bird mask because you know it has like a
Yeah.
beak on it and just ugh.
Now they can't make out because it would be all nose. It would be all beak. Chapter 8. A big second day at the mansion. Feyre explores the gardens, considers escape plans, and thinks about approaching Lucian so she can turn him against Tamlin. As she explores, she hears footsteps and wonders if she is being followed. All I can think about is, did she fart? Before
Especially since she can kind of like
gonna-
even hear laughter maybe at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. They're like, dang, she shit her pants. Before she can investigate, Alice calls her for lunch. Suspicious timing. I picture Alice like can see that she's about to discover them, or maybe she can smell the fart too. I don't know. Later that night, Later that night, she is at her second dinner with her new captors. The highlights: she takes a knife from the place setting. Lucian accuses her of wanting to use his own sword to attack him at dinner, and if I was in her place, I'd kind of be wanting to do that too.
Yeah.
Tamlin accuses Feyre of liking to hunt. Feyre reveals a few things about herself. She's 19. She doesn't like hunting. It was out of a necessity. She's playing the part of a perfect guest to keep her promise to her mother about taking care of her family. And the night ends with her revealing one last thing. She does not know a lot about Fae because she lost her mom too soon to learn. She asks if this is what they do with their lives: spare humans and eat fine meals. Tamlin apologizes for her loss, and Feyre leaves the dinner and returns to her room, tucking that knife in her satchel just in case.
Okay, this one bothers me every time I read it because I'm like, am I just too critically thinking about this? When he asks Feyre about the mother, like telling about them, like kind of like is that more like fairy tale? Like, did you not grow up with hearing stories about us and like how life used to be when we were kind of not overlording you, but at the same time we were more interactive? Or is it literally, like we'd mentioned, is there a thought to that theory that like maybe they know who her mother is? Do they not know? You know what I mean? I don't know. It bothers me every time I reread this.
I mean, I could see it like being like like mothers are the ones that usually do the bedtime stories and
Yeah.
put their kids to bed. So, but then again, like this whole time, they're kind of like, we're not the horrible stories that you've heard. Like we're not these
Yes.
awful people. So, I wasn't thinking that, but
And he
it kind of
clearly
maybe
knew
feels
that
like
she
maybe,
wasn't around based on
yeah,
seeing around the house. He was like, well, I didn't really sense an older woman. I didn't see any pictures, none of that sort. So like,
yeah. How how observant is he in this first book? And then like later on when she's suffering, does he ignore every sign that he sees
so,
because of his own trauma? I'm just saying.
I know. Oh, Tamlin.
that was annoying me a lot too. Like listening to how much he notices about her, and I don't know if something happened to like change the way he accepts her or
Yeah.
Yeah.
something.
Have you guys ever had a feeling that someone is watching you? Because I was gonna say, like, I don't know if I should say that. I feel like every girl has had that feeling, like somebody is watching them. Parking garages, late at night, taking the trash out, all that stuff. You just
Creepy
feel that way.
neighbors. Like I think we all have
Yeah,
that
for
sense
sure.
of awareness from like when we were young to even when we started to mature and like we got different looks as we got older, and like it's just I think that's always like a weird sense of like you can feel it, like your skin crawls, like you
Yeah.
can feel it.
It's like when I wake up and I can sense that my 2-year-old is sitting up in my bed just staring at me. And I
Terrifying.
get first it's a demon and then it's just my son. So
He's like, hey.
yeah, he always, like last night he was like cars, and then he said monster truck. Monster truck jam.
I'm dying because I was literally scrolling in bed the other night and I saw a video of like a mom waking up and she's like, I about punted my toddler because she had the like Annabelle wig on and her back is to her watching TV at the foot of her
No.
bed and she's like, oh hell no.
Today, I was going to the bathroom in our guest bathroom. And, as a parent, every mom knows this. You just leave the door open and the toddler runs in. I'm going to the bathroom and he runs in and he points up to the top of the shower curtain and he goes, ghost. Didn't even know he knows that word. And then he goes, Steve, which for viewers at home, my son calls anything that looks like Frankenstein or a pumpkin that has been carved out or something like that, Steve. So he's seeing a ghost who looks like Steve on the top of my shower curtain. I have to burn the whole building down, which unfortunately will affect a lot of people. Okay. I also think it's funny that Lucian jokes about like dancing or like, oh, you think we're fae, we're dancing at a full moon. But then like later there's the festival where it kind of feels like they're dancing at a full moon.
But that's not the full sentence. It's like dancing under the full moon and stealing your babies and like the changelings, like swapping them for the changelings. So it's like a full on.
It just kind of
like
feels
Grimm's
like
fairy tale.
Chapter 9, A Bath and a Scheme. Feyre forms her plan to approach Lucian as Alice bathes her. On her way to find Lucian at the stables, she runs into Tamlin. He yet again offers a tour, and she once again says no. Tamlin is obviously annoyed, but lets her by. She makes it to the stables and finds Lucian. He offers for her to ride with him so he can see her abilities that got his friend murdered. Thus, two enemies set out on a pony ride. Or donkey ride, we still don't know. Unnaturally quiet.
It's Maximus from Tamlin, or from Tangled.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or it's that beast from earlier that rhymes with attack. What is it? What is that beast's name? I've already forgotten it.
Martax.
Martax. They're just hopping around on Martax attack. Unnaturally quiet, Lucian criticizes Feyre and wonders why she hasn't shot any game. She says they have plenty of food on their table, so why bother? Lucian then admits that he knows her games and asks about her plan to turn him against Tamlin. Shocked, Feyre tries to play dumb. Lucian admits he wishes there was a loophole to get rid of her because he would take it, but alas, they are stuck together. She asks about Tamlin's court, the masks, what happened that night of the curse, and Lucian accidentally reveals some juicy gossip when he curses that night and then takes it back so that word doesn't get back to her. He quickly moves on so Feyre doesn't notice, but it's too late. Going along with the conversation change and deciding to not probe any further on who he was talking about, Feyre asks how old he is and what powers he has. Lucian says he is not like other fae. As a high fae, they don't have a specific power, they simply exist to rule. In Boulder, she asks about his scar. Without giving any details away, he says he couldn't keep his mouth shut when he should have. And no, Tamlin didn't give it to him. Lucian then introduces Feyre and us readers to a fan favorite, ladies and gentlemen, the Cereal, whichever you want to call it. Fairy who can be trapped for answers, but before too much is said, something approaches and Lucian goes serious, telling Feyre to not react. Just stare ahead, don't look. And I'm so glad it ended on this cliffhanger because truthfully, I remember what happens, but I also don't remember what happened. So it actually was ending on a cliffhanger for me. I don't remember is it cereal? I feel like I'm saying cereal with the slang. Cereal?
Sorrel.
It's not what they encounter, but it is what he brings up because isn't he trying to get her to hunt it so that it kills her? That is his plan in his mind right now. I don't remember. I want to call it a her, but I don't remember her being brought up this soon.
I think Lucian is baiting her, but I don't. Yes, he wouldn't mind if she dies because he would blink twice and just be like, "That's too bad. Sucks. You're human. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think twice about you." But because there's so much weight on that prophecy of that curse breaker, basically, he's only trying to feed her what he can, but then he's also kind of pretend leaving crumbs that he accidentally didn't mean to leave, mentioning Amarantha, mentioning certain things about their curse and what's going on in their world. And I feel like that he's doing that consciously. Yeah,
He's not being dumb.
He's actually being how can I tell you without telling you, because Tamlin doesn't want to tell you anything, and he wants you to naturally it's like Beauty and the Beast, naturally fall in love with him to break the curse, you know, wants you to fight your way to break Amarantha's curse, but like at the same time she knows nothing. Like,
Yeah.
but she's smart. She's
Isn't
picking up on clues.
isn't part of the curse that they can't like specifically tell her what
Yes.
she is there for? So
Yes.
I agree with you. I think he's trying his darnest to like leave little breadcrumbs for her.
Yeah. And I think that's also why the Suriel is mentioned. It's not only like, well, if it kills you, you know, too bad, but it is at the same time. But it's also like, if you can ensnare this thing and shock the hell out of us, maybe you could get some answers.
Do you think you guys would enjoy having a servant bathe you?
Oh my gosh, that's what I was
Like,
going to bring up.
and
Is how are they just
It's like in
no,
Bridgerton, to call
Yeah.
back to earlier in the episode, is like it's always people getting them ready and people
Mhm.
bathing them and all that stuff. And it's like, I know in the time that was just expected of people that had higher money and royalty and things like that. And in this world, obviously, that's what it's alluding to. But I just like, I don't think I would like that.
I don't understand it. I don't understand having to have someone put a shirt on for me or wash my hair. Like, you don't need
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm going to
It's
stop
so
you there
weird.
because washing my hair is actually the only part I think I would enjoy of that, because I always said like the best part of getting a haircut is not the horrible conversation. It's when they massage your head.
I wouldn't mind somebody washing my hair. I don't need someone every time I bathe to do it
Yeah.
for me. I can do it myself.
It's just that royalty mentality of like, you don't lift a finger, like they prim and proper and they pamper you basically.
No, weird. Don't like it. Wouldn't be a
Couldn't
fan.
me. So the spotlight. It seems like we went on sabbatical and the world changed, or at least the book world changed. Penn Cole finished her draft for the final book of the Kindred's Curse saga, and that is turned in. So it is in the, well, what I could assume is like the first round of editing for a first final draft. I wouldn't say we could expect that book this year because you just don't know how editing is going to go, but I would say within 2027 we will have that book, I believe.
If you want to read that series, we already covered it on our
Yes.
podcast. You can listen to us
Such a
talk
great
about
series.
it.
And 28 episodes of it, can't miss out. Next is and this is brand new, is Rebecca Yarros started book 4, or at least alluded to it. I think everyone is safe to assume that that's what she was saying, because the way she plans and she writes is very interesting to me. I feel like it's maybe not like a lot of authors do it, but she is starting book 4, so I'd say probably in the next 5 years, because she is in no rush to finish that book. She is focused on herself. Good for her, because I feel like she said that the push for book 3 mentally was a lot, so she can take her sweet time on book 4, but I'm eager to find that out and just read that. I think everybody is. And then of course, the news that changed our world, changed your world, is that SJM was on Call Her Daddy. And just kind of an interview recap, because it's like a 2.5 hour interview. She confirmed 2 new books. Book 6 is coming out October 27th of 2026. And book 7 is coming out on January 12th of 2027. The story is one big massive narrative, so it's not separate standalone parts. It's a continuation. The ACOTAR TV adaptation is kind of a rumor. It's not happening. She officially has the full rights back to her work. And if anything ever moves forward, she will have full creative control. As someone that likes a TV series or movie to follow exactly like the book, I am happy that she has full creative control. I will say, I think that's what makes Harry Potter pretty good, is that J.K. Rowling was there for all of it. She has hinted towards worlds colliding. So during this year, the year of SJM as we're calling it, we are going through every single series that she's written. We're starting with ACOTAR because if you only have time to read this series before those books come out, then great. If you don't, then you need to read the whole universe, because she's hinted that this whole universe is going to collide, and that includes Throne of Glass, Crescent City, and ACOTAR. And we'll be covering all of that, obviously starting with ACOTAR.
How are we going to fit it in? Oh my God.
That's what she said. I have no clue. So overall, it was a great interview. It had, she talked about the smut criticism that she gets, her personal life, and how that has affected her writing processes. So you should go check out that interview if you can. And once again, we totally saw it as a sign that we had to make this the year of SJM. Fan theories. Jenna hinted on one, but we're not going to jump into any specific for this segment today because honestly, for this series, they're endless. We could talk for hours. We'll probably address one per episode starting next episode, but this episode's already running long because of technical difficulties. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up.
Can I add one thing to your spotlight real quick? So Alex Astor, the author of That Summer in the City and the Lightlark series, has a new book coming out at the end of this month, March 31st, and it's like her first adult fantasy called Starside. I don't know how many books will be in it. I think I'm a huge fan. I don't know how you girls feel about it, but I'm super excited about it. I'm going to be pre-ordering it. I'm excited to get my hands on it. So might be one that we'll have to just kind of jump off and read occasionally and talk about.
And if you want a taste of what her writing is like, you can look at our standalone episode where we talk about Summer in the City. So
that was a great one.
It's not fantasy, but you can at least get a feel for what her writing is like. And it's funny, if she actually reposted our TikTok where we talk about a certain scene in that series. So
now let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Next episode, we will be stripping down chapters 10 through 18. So be sure to follow us on all of our socials. Tune in every Tuesday on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast for a new episode of
Book Thoughts. Book Thoughts.
I knew Jenna was going to be behind.
We were a little off.